This is one of those videos when I genuinely thought, oh, do I really actually want to do this? I really don't know if I can even be bothered to talk about Jesse Lingard anymore. Not just over this summer, but my word, it's been quite a while, isn't it? So many transfer windows we've just spent talking about Lingard possibly coming to West Ham and all these. Very, very painful to keep doing them. And this could well be the last. And I've got to be honest, I really, really hope it is. There has been some developments on the Lingard situation. You may have already seen it in the news or seen it with WESTHAMWAY, or maybe you haven't. So I'm going to tell you about it now. So before I do, though, we're giving away a West Ham top, home, away, or third kit every month for the whole season. In fact, I think actually next week we're going to do another video for the next giveaway. So keep your eyes peeled. But all you got to do, if you want to get in that competition, is just be a subscriber. So it's free to do so. Hit the subscribe button, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And we'll give away a top, as I say, every month for the whole season. So, yeah, we've already given away 2. So, yeah, on to the third. Jesse Lingard, then, so he's been training with West Ham for the last month or so. He's obviously left Nottingham Forest in the last season. We had the whole rigmarole last summer with him coming to West Ham. He was doing these ridiculous videos. Is he coming? Is he going? And all this nonsense. Anyway, he ended up going to Nottingham Forest. So what? That's what kind of happened. And then he spent the season there. Really pointless season for him, really. Nothing happened at the club. He barely played, really, and didn't really fit their system, blah, 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 blah. And then we heard the news that he was then training with West Ham. Straight away, it was initially said, well, he's only here for fitness, and I think West Ham are just giving him that opportunity to stay fit to again get a move elsewhere, which you kind of thought, okay, it's not the end of the world. But as times then moved on, it appeared that Jesse Lingard was coming to West Ham. Actually, that he was going to be seen as a player who's going to be joining our squad. West Ham have got a space available in our squad. It's 25, isn't it? The total amount of players you can have in a Premier League squad. We've got 24. The number 11 shirt's vacant. It was all kind of looking obvious, really, that Jesse Lingard's going to come back to West Ham. They're going to get his fitness up. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but I just wanted to let you know this video is actually sponsored by Circle, and specifically their game 5 Match Millions. I'm going to be honest with you, okay, that we're very picky about who we work with on the channel. For the West Ham Way, we are. And when they approached us to sponsor the channel, we said, well, okay, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll basically use your app for a couple of weeks just to make sure that we're happy with it. I've got to say, it's really good and very addictive, I'll warn you. Basically, the way it works is they pick 5 games for the weekend, Premier League football games, okay? And each game, you pick a number. You can do it either randomly, or you do a lucky dip, or you pick the numbers that you want. And the way it works is that it's numbers from 1 to 27, and basically the dial will spin depending on what happens in the game. So if there's a throw in, it moves 2 places to the left. If there's a yellow card, it goes 4 to the right. And basically, wherever it ends at the end of the game, it'll land on a number. And if you get that number, then you win. So basically, you can win up to £1 million if you get all 5, okay? And the first, so if you match 1, you get your money back plus a couple of quid extra, blah, 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 blah. And basically, I think even if you match 3 numbers, you get 75 quid. So it's very, very good. And yeah, and basically all it is £2 a week to play. Now, if you click on the link below and type in West Ham Way, next weekend's games, you get absolutely free and get to give it a go. So why not just give it a go? Got nothing to lose. I've got to say, it's really, really good. And as I say, I've won already twice. It might be beginner's luck. It might well be beginner's luck, but I'm definitely going to carry on playing. But yeah, so click the link below, West Ham Way. Good luck. And the plan was, I believe, that the club are going to offer him a short-term contract which is going to be highly incentivized in regards to, appearances and goals and assists and that kind of stuff. And if you remember, David Moyes actually said in a press conference that he owed Jesse Lingard. He actually used that term, we owe Jesse. He kind of referred back to that season, the 2020, 2021, when we finished 6th, of him being the big difference, the reason why that West Ham made 6th and got Europa League. He's got a point. I don't deny that. I think Jesse Lingard was a huge catalyst as to why we got into top 6. I'm not, no problem about that. We've had Kevin Nolan come out publicly on TalkSport, say that Jesse wants to come back. It was all these kind of things going on. Then the next development was that Jesse Lingard was then back in Manchester to have a court hearing regarding drink driving offence. So he went back to Manchester to deal with that. It's got a little bit of press coverage, etc., etc. I'll be honest, I'm kind of thinking next week was most likely week the West Ham would sort of get a deal arranged and concluded with the player because of the fact that we had the cup game and all these sort of things coming up. So it kind of fitted in quite well. But anyway, then all of a sudden we get on social media once again. Jesse Lingard, as he likes to do, sort of drop these social media things. of him pictured on an airplane going to Saudi. And everyone's thinking, well, what's going on? You know, what's happening here? And then, anyway, lo and behold, it appears now that the club out in Saudi, which Steven Gerrard manages, is now going to put him on a month's trial. Now, first of all, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, well, I can only assume then that West Ham have obviously told Jesse, look, this isn't going to happen, and maybe said to him, look, you know, I mean, we don't know the full extent of exactly what's going on here, but that's kind of what immediately I would have thought happened. But it turns out that David Moyes and West Ham had absolutely no idea what was going on, and Jesse's just basically taking it upon himself to do so. Now, I think it's worth stressing that Jesse can do that. At the end of the day, he's a free agent. He's not contracted to West Ham whatsoever. He can go and do as he pleases at the end of the day. If he's under no obligation to stay at West Ham. And if he's been offered another opportunity, then I can understand that. But the fact is, let's just go with what we know at the moment, and let's just assume that it's correct, okay? Because I'm not saying it's definite, but let's just go with the notion that the club had no idea and Jesse's just literally uprooted and gone, right, I'm going there for my trial. That is really poor. Like, really, really poor from the player. I mean, especially to David Moyes. I mean, because you're thinking, well, he's, again, stuck his neck out for you. He's given you an opportunity to get fit. You know, West Ham have been paying this guy. They've been paying Jesse Lingard for his accommodation, for his food, and all these things, and no doubt. I know he's not been earning wages, but he's been, at least West Ham been putting him up. And I think the idea that he's just then turned around and thought, well, I'm just going to jump on this plane and go, is pretty shocking, actually, and pretty low, and just gets you to that point of thinking, God, why did we bother wasting our time? And it does feel like an absolute waste of time once again, surrounding the same player. We did this all last summer. I spent a hell of a lot of time trying to convince him to come to West Ham and all these things. Then he decided not to. So it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a difference this time around. The difference is we don't really need him. Like, you know, we're not sitting there going, oh my God, that's our season ruined. I actually did think, I struggled to actually see where he fits in. The only part of me that I thought he'd be quite useful having Lingard was when we got players going away for the Africa Cup of Nations, and then you're thinking, well, if they're going away in January, then it'd be ideal to have Lingard available. But you know, it's not going to happen. And I don't know. I mean, the whole thing's a bit of a joke. I mean, it's poor from Lingard. At the end of the day, I'm not really bothered. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's kind of one of those things, as I say, I don't look at Lingard and think, one, I think he's not the player he was anyway. I'd be very surprised if we got the same sort of quality that we got and the output that we got from him when he came for a loan spell. It doesn't look like he's got that hunger to me. And secondly, I'm just feeling like we don't really need him. I don't look at our squad and think, wow, we need Lingard in this. I just don't see where he'd really fit in. I don't know where the game time would be. As I say, the only time I could see it was January. But and let's bear in mind as well, in defence of the player, and don't get me wrong, there isn't much I can do to defend him, but I'm going to say this, that West Ham really weren't forthcoming. It was all very much, it's going to be short term. It's going to be highly incentivised, i.e. very low wages. We've hardly been pushing if we to get a deal done quickly. We've been sort of dragging on. Yeah, you got to prove your fitness. So it doesn't look like there was a great deal of love coming from West Ham and desperation to get Lingard in. So maybe that's the feeling he got. Ex-WH employee put an update in regards to the situation on the WESTHAMWAY Patreon, and he was saying basically that from a very top source, I mean, we're not going to sort of say who it is, but let's say the top source at West Ham, basically was saying that we don't really think he's going to fit in anyway. We don't know where he plays. So maybe Lingard's got wind of that, and maybe he's been told that, you know, we don't really see where you're getting in there. And maybe he's looking at it, because maybe like we can see it as fans, can't we? We're looking at the squad, watching us play well, and you're thinking, well, where's Lingard fitting in? So, yeah, look, I'm going to be honest. If this is the last video, the very last video on Jesse Lingard, then I'm more than happy, because it's about time now we drew a line under this.